Hello there, people. My name is Sho, and welcome to an episode of Game Things. Before I dive into the news for this week, know that the Steam Summer Sale is up and running until July 11th at 10 a.m. Pacific Time. Be sure to check out your wishlisted games and buy more cheap games that you will almost certainly not have enough time to play. Anyways, let us dive into this week's news, starting with the Capcom Next livestream event, in which the main focuses are on the 3 upcoming game titles. First up on the list is Kunitsugami Path of the Goddess, which is coming out this month on July 19th. I personally like the way the control felt in this game, playing it with the controller. Even as you boot up the demo, there is a pop-up window telling you to play it with a controller. The camera in this game changes depending on what you do in a surprisingly good way. Gameplay-wise, you are tasked to cleanse the corruption that is happening in the villages. During the day, you'll be prepping your next wave, which will be the nighttime, and facing the hordes of Seath, all while defending the maiden. While this is not your Monster Hunter level of game, I generally do think that this is a game worth trying out, and the demo is available on Steam until the game officially launches on July 19th. Moving on, we also saw the Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster Edition, which is also releasing later this year on September 19th. Can't say that I'm a Dead Rising enjoyer, but if you have played the series, expect modern graphics, quality of life touches like autosaves, and hopefully the same feeling playing this remaster. There's no better time than the upcoming 2 months to dip your toes into the franchise, with Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster releasing digitally on the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and Series S, and Steam on September 19, 2024, while the physical editions of the game will be releasing in November 2024. The third and final game. While they did not specifically mention what would the name for the upcoming Resident Evil would be, Capcom did tease about it during the Capcom Next event, with the director of Resident Evil 7 Biohazard Koshi Nakanishi saying that the new Resident Evil is in development and it is going to happen. And that is pretty much the TLDW for the Capcom Next video. And now let us dive into the flash news for this week. It almost feels like we get a new Souls-like title every 2 to 3 months since 2023, whether it is a big title or an indie. This time we have Flintlock: The Siege of Dawn. The combat definitely felt more arcadey than what I would consider a Souls-like, and from the gameplay itself, it is definitely not a solid 60 frames per second, which is concerning. If you're up for the challenge, there is a 22 minutes long extended gameplay on the developer's YouTube channel called A44 Games, and we will be sure to link that down below as well. Next, Sam and Max, The Devil's Playhouse Remastered is an episodic point-and-click adventure game with its unique cartoony graphics. In short, this is your Telltale games, and so the gameplay should be similar. Sam and Max: The Devil's Playhouse Remastered is releasing on August 14, 2024. Then we have this game that I did not care, but I am mentioning this for a reason. Concord is a new action first-person shooter developed by Firewalk Studio, published by Sony, that is coming this year on August 24th. It does kind of shows how the Sony's long-term plan is starting to implement, and I think it is easily going to be a flop because I believe a paid live service game is already setting the bar really high for the general player base out there. Upsetting news here for the fans of Days Gone, the single-player open-world survivor game released in 2019 for the PlayStation 4 and 2021 for the PC. While many players have hoped for a sequel, Kevin McAllister, a developer from Bend Studio, have confirmed on X, stating that they are working on a new IP at this very moment, and it is time to move on. I guess good games will always come to an end. Speaking of good games, Frostpunk is certainly a good game, but it seems like good games require time in the making and refinements and patience. because Frostpunk 2 is apparently getting delayed to September 20th this year to address players' feedback that were gathered during the beta period to guarantee, and I quote, the best possible experience at launch. Coming to the last piece of Flash news, originally planned for a late 2024 release, Lost Records Bloom and Rage has been delayed to an early 2025 release in order to accommodate and distance itself from the launch of Life is Strange Double Exposure, which, if you don't already know, both are from the same developer though not, and Life is Strange is a series they started back in 2015. For the game releases of this week, the Nexon's take on live service looter shooter free-to-play game The First Descendant is now available on the PlayStation 4 and 5, Xbox Series X and Series S, Xbox One, and PC. Yes, the game is heavily monetized, which does not leave a good taste in the mouth, but that is to be expected when you heard Nexon is the one behind it. Then we have The Legend of Heroes Trails Through Daybreak, a JRPG experience that focuses on the tactical combat, which I really think is something that I've been missing out in my entire life and that I should definitely give it a try. If you're interested just like me, the game is now available on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, Nintendo Switch as well. The game was released in March 2023 for PC. Last on the list, one of the top 10 video game company by revenue, at least that is what I believe, MiHoYo, the company behind the widely known Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail, has released their next title, Zenless Zone Zero. While Genshin focuses on the open world experience, HSR turns its direction into the turn-based genre, and now ZZZ is focusing on the fighting, action combat gameplay, combining it with a slice of life aspect. ZZZ is now available for the PlayStation 5, PC, Android, and iOS. Coming to the free games for this week, The Falconeer Standard Edition is an open-world indie game whereby the players will be controlling a falcon, engaging in air combat in this vast oceanic world. This game can be yours to keep as long as you claim it by or before 11th of July. And a quick one to those with PlayStation Plus, this month's offering includes Borderlands 3, which is a nice game to have, NHL 24 that 99% of the population doesn't care, Among Us in July 2024, oh my god, why not? And Genshin Impact's in-game content, yeah, more like 1/3 of a pool with that 60 Primo Gems. And that marks the end of this week's episode of Game Things. Consider giving this video a like if you find it helpful, subscribe and click on the bell so that you will receive notifications whenever we have a new upload here on YouTube.